Hey there, Pumpkin Pie. We're going to do a very quick update on the crypto week ahead. What's coming? We are still in the summer period for the US of A. Shout out to my baby dolls over there in the Northern Hemisphere. We had Tether FUD this week. We had BlackRock coming in, kind of saving the day, or really are they, right? With the ETF coming in. We also had PulseChain hit day 33. I have talking to you about crypto bulls don't believe the US Fed. We had the FOMC and their fake words saying, oh, we're going to hike to infinity, right? It's all a load of baloney. And we also had ChainLink FUD too with the inflation stuff. If you notice, FUD, it's okay, everybody. Chill out. You are my friend. You've got it straight back. You're going to perk your ears up. You are a fluffy slipper wearer. And we're going to go and have a look at the Bitcoin chart. W is for friendship. This is a weekly chart. I like using this Supertrend. It is so simple and basic. I just love it, how simple it is, man. In trading and investing, you keep things simple. You have the power of friendship on your side. I promise you that. Now, because we're on the weekly time frame, the times that it flips these indicators is very low, like the frequency, because it takes so long to get them to move, and there's less chance of a fake out. So if you notice here, we're green, and remember this is a super trend. So it's super trend, it's basic super trend. It's 3 times the ATR. So what it does is it gets 3 times the range. Let's say the range is this, right? It does 3 times the range, and if you cross above it, it goes, okay, we've established a trend, and now you're green, right? Which is what happened here. So the range was up here, the price crossed it, and that's how you see these green happening now. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to a similar time in the previous bear markets that Bitcoin seems to be emulating, okay? Because we have 2 bear markets to really go off. In the previous 2019 one, which we probably not like, we had the plus token Ponzi, like a super moonshot, all right? I want to let you know, Bitcoin basically rallied all the way such that it was only 40% off the high. What equivalent would that be for us? That would be if Bitcoin was back to $42,000. As you can see, Bitcoin only stayed at $26,000, you can see. So if we were doing some sort of giant moonshot up here, so up to bang here, then we would be paying for our sins for another year. But we didn't do that. We came up here, we had USDC, depegging came up here, now we have this SEC FUD. Okay, so we can go back in time and find that this was similar to the Mt. Gox Ponzi collapse style, which was 2016. If you've also noticed here, look at this. Whenever we procced green here, we actually never looked back. We never looked back. In fact, the price action here, the up and down, the friendship and kindness, we never actually touched the bottom of the ATR. By the way, what I'm drawing right now, you see where this arrow is? This is the Bitcoin halvening run for 2016. So I don't know what comes next. We are just guessing. We're lucky to be alive. We're lucky we even found each other, me and you, okay? You have your fluffy slippers on and you want to know what comes next. Well, so do I. Join the club, all right? So when it comes to this, maybe there's up and down and left and right in friendship. Maybe we have some sort of Bitcoin halvening run and then we're back to normal. So I want you to know as well, if you map out the 2019 bear market and the 2016 bear market, if you put them overlay, they get to the same price. So the 2019 one went up and then it died. And then I'm going to change its color. The 2015 one did this staircase, right? It did this staircase, but they end up at the same point. You see here, they end up in the same point. So I'm guessing anywhere from Bitcoin 30 to 40K after the Bitcoin halvening. 30 to 50K could even be, right? This is an exact science, but it's somewhere around that zone. You know, anywhere from 30 to 40. And we're going to also be relying on Ethereum and altcoins to give some friendship because Bitcoin is diminishing returns. So I have my core coins here. This is the time to be collecting. It is a quiet period. You can tell, you can feel it. There was FUD thrown out, but look at Bitcoin's candles. Now I understand that the FUD was not directed at Bitcoin, but hey, the reality of the situation is if this was really super messy, Bitcoin would be capitulating and liquidating, and we all know it. So it is what it is. So the coins I like, you can get none of them. You can short them. You don't have to touch anything. I'm just telling you what I like. Okay, I like the sky. I like bananas. I like squeaky chairs. I also like, here we have ChainLink, HEX, PulseX, that's PLSX, Pulse, PLS. You got Hedron, HDRN, Icosa, ICSA, and Porpleb, PP. Okay, I want you to know as well, if you have, let's say you wanted to throw and sprinkle on anything, I'm just giving you a warning. All of these coins in this rectangle, they are all related to Richard Hart and the HEX PulseChain ecosystem. All of them are basically the same coin. So if you put $1,000 in each, for example, you are betting on the same thing. there is unlikely to be a world, almost near zero be a world, where Pulse itself goes up and the rest go down. And the other way works as well. So when Pulse goes down, everything else is coming down with it, which is what we've been seeing recently. So you would have to stack your weights towards Link, for example. So if I had a portfolio of $10,000 just to sprinkle it in, yeah, personally I would have like $4,000 to $5,000 in Link, and then $4,000 to $5,000 could be spread out in here. But you can do whatever you want, right? There's just imaginary numbers thrown in the air. Okay, you can get your own financial advisor. You can get your own financial advice. I'm not here for that. This is purely entertainment. I'm just a little peanut brain. And we're going to have a peanut here to signify that remember, we are always guessing, friends. We're always guessing. This is why I give you power when we need it, and I'm going to take it away when we take our pants off in the euphoria. But we've got to stay strong. We're always guessing. Even though I have these indicators and everything going up, doesn't matter, man. We're still guessing. You can't control if someone's going to just lose the plot tomorrow. All right. So Pulse came and Pulse tapped the day one sacrifice price. Many people are waiting for this line. You see this line? I've written it down here. This is the biggest whale sacrifice, because the way the ICO worked, or the sacrifice phase worked, was you got a 2.5x multiplier for being the first rank on the volume. So roughly around here, this is where the biggest whale is. Many people are waiting for this. They say there's not enough blood. They wanted to come here. But look, sometimes you can't go off the price you want. You have to go off time. And the way I see it, from HEX's launch at the start, HEX did 3 red candles and it was done. That was marking the very bottom of HEX. This is 1. This is technically a green. This is a red. This is maybe technically a green. Maybe because it's slowed down a bit. Maybe there's a bit of green and not enough deep red. Maybe it's going to take a couple more candles. But hey, at the end of the day, enough time has passed. That's what I feel. I feel like the damage is done. Enough time has passed. On PulseX, we can see the red candles. This is the thing. We can see them. 1, 2, 3. These are weeklies. I am now going on the weekly charts. I understand everybody wants to go on these 1 hours, go, ooh, what's going on, friends? What's going on? But this is heart attack inducing. This is not conducive to friendship and kindness. And trust me, your win rate will significantly drop the lower the time frames you take. All right. So here's PulseX, which is the main DEX on PulseChain. We went down. We actually touched around the biggest whale sacrifice price, actually below it. It was like a full-on rinse. How about that? You know what that means, friends? That means many people were taking losses in PulseX. It hit down. If we go back, we go down here. Please excuse the racism, friends. I'm going to have to go down to the daily chart. We went and we hit down. So the biggest whale, so the person who put in like 10 to 20, 30 million dollars into PulseX went offside 25%. Now, if you are new to markets, welcome, welcome. You're my friend. Please like, subscribe, button on all. I want to tell you, this is a good sign. This is what you want to see. Because this means to get down here was significant loss taking. You want people to get out just for the sake of getting out, because that means it's basically free. Now, I want to remind you as well, the liquidity between PulseX and Pulse, which was this coin, they are bonded, which means they move up and down together. So perhaps this signifies that a rinsing of one means the other one has been rinsed. So we're just guessing. Remember, perhaps the fact that PulseX has been rinsed also means by default Pulse has now been rinsed. This is just my guess. We can always keep going down. We're lucky this stuff even works. Now we have HEX. This is pHEX. pHEX, very interesting. Even as the collapses happened of HEX from Ethereum, which is eHEX, pHEX did not get the value rotation. So pHEX was quote unquote meant to get all the value, but it didn't. People just sold eHEX, all right, which is here. People just sold eHEX, and they did not come and rotate into pHEX. It was just a full-on exit out of the system. What does that mean? Well, to interpret that, I like it. I believe it means eHEX and pHEX are going to be more closely linked, and this is what I have here, because you're a baby doll baby cake. We are updating you the ratio. This is the eHEX pHEX ratio. I'm going to write that down. eHEX pHEX ratio. We are using this as an indicator of what the market believes both of these hexes are strong or weaker to each other. Okay, what do they believe about them? Now, below this line, it means eHEX is very weak, cheaper. Right now, it's about 0.7, so it's 70% of pHEX's price. Will it change in the future? Perhaps. If you notice, this is on a daily chart. I am going to go to the land of friendship weeklies. I won't be surprised if it comes back and just kind of tricks everybody. But hey, there are no guarantees here. I understand a lot of you. I understand you get very nervous. You're shaky. Your hands are shaky. We're trembling, friends. It's okay. Remember, the Richard Heart ecosystem is asymmetric. So if you can't focus, I know some of you have been, I'm seeing some messages, some of you actually can't sleep at night and you're stressed. I want you to know everything's going to be okay. If you're rotating out of your eHEX, if you feel like you sleep better with pHEX or you sleep better rotating it into Pulse or PulseX, just chill out, okay? I want you to know you don't have to go all in or out. You can rotate some out, but I also like you to know I don't see a world, and obviously I don't know everything, but I don't see a world where just one coin goes up and everything gets forgotten, okay? May I remind you, in 2021, people bought JPEGs, people bought dog coins. There was Constitution DAO. Someone bought the Constitution of America. There's all this weird stuff happening because people were euphoric with confidence. So is it wild to expect that somehow this thing kind of goes back to parity, which is 1.0? I don't think it's wild at all. I also speculate that perhaps the duck, who may or may not own the origin address, might have some Easter eggs coming in. I want to remind you there is yield farm still going on, baby doll, baby cakes, on the app.pulsex.com website, which is on PulseChain. Yield farming is risky. Please search yield farming on my YouTube. You'll be able to find that, and you can watch some tutorials. If you haven't already, you need to, right? You can just type in, see up here, this little search, just type in yield farm. See what your friend Tommy has said about yield farming. There are risks. There are opportunities. You got to max them up together. You have to decide for yourself. I can't click it for you. Just like I can't sit on your squeaky chair for you, I can't make all the decisions for you. You're going to have to decide yourself. But all I can do is just be your friend and just tell you the information, all right? So when it comes to these yield farms, yes, they are great. There are no yield farms for eHEX, otherwise known as HEX from Ethereum. There are no yield farms. They were pulled off. I have a sneaky suspicion when the coast is clear, and I think the coast is clear now, perhaps HEX from Ethereum farms get added back. That's what I feel. I don't know why. I just got a sneaky suspicion they come back somewhere, because I'm noticing there is no eHEX with ink farm. And I just believe that if we want this whole ecosystem to link with a policy of no man left behind, I think that's what the future is going to happen. Now, I can be wrong. I can be wrong. We can all go to zero. You know, but many crazy things happen in crypto. I mean, like, look, personally, I also wonder what would happen if Greg the Duck, all right, let's get Greg out, all right? I wonder what would happen, since Greg may or may not have an origin address control key, if Greg pushes this ratio and just flips it to 1.0 and then sets an infinite wall here and here. And suddenly people can now transfer their eHEX between pHEX 1-for-1 if they wish. I wonder what would happen. I have not run the game theory completely. I think that would be fantastic. Personally, this is what I think that would be. That would be great, because that would signify the opportunity for people, if they choose, to migrate out of eHEX into pHEX if they choose. I think that would be great. It would be like a vote of everybody, and it would show the strength of pHEX, and there would be no death of eHEX on the chart, because it would be linked 1-to-1, a true 1-to-1 linking. Now, right now, you might say, well, right now, what's going on? Well, there is a liquidity fund. It's on V2. So there's, I forgot how many millions of dollars, but it's not infinite, because it can be pushed around. But if someone did an infinite wall, I just wonder what would happen. Now, I prophesized this as a potential scenario in one of my videos from literally like 4 or 5 months ago. But I did say that if I was Greg, if I was a duck, if I swam in a pond and I ate little breadcrumbs from the old man who's throwing it on the park bench on the floor, I personally would let this rinsing happen, which is what's happened, and then I will do it later. Just because you want the weekends out. We don't want them to destroy you. Basically, those people who are thinking of selling, which is what they have now, you want them out so they don't cause any US dollar sell pressure in the future. That's the whole reason behind it, okay? Now, we've gone through the whole ecosystem. Everything is super cheap zone, like ridiculously cheap. It was cheap ages ago. I understand, friends. We've dropped 60, 70%. Welcome to crypto, man. places you think are cheap in crypto, yeah, drop it at 60% again, and then 80%. This is what happens. It's disgusting, but it is what it is. During bear markets, this is what happens to us, okay? We don't choose this life. This life chooses us, all right? Now, ChainLink versus Ethereum, double bottoming. This is, well, you know, we're already long from all up here. So, like, at this point, send it to zero. I don't really care. I mean, by the way, that's a joke, okay? So we're waiting for this golden rectangle of friendship, somewhere 2025. The fundamentals of ChainLink are still strong. You can watch my video about the inflation unlocks and everything. Everything, to me, fingers crossed, is still going great. SEC did not target ChainLink, okay? They have never discussed price. There is none of this. They've done a lot of things to avoid all this, all right? So hopefully, fingers crossed, everything continues the same way. I want to let you know as well, this is the Ethereum versus Bitcoin chart. This is used as a total market risk on, risk off. Right now, it is still in the zone after like over 2 years, man. From April 2021, now we're in June 2023. Wow, we are still in this freaking zone. What's happening? Ethereum has burning. It now has staking. It has like less sell pressure and all these other things and use cases. It's just it's basically a boiling kettle pot. We're just waiting for it to eventually pop and just go into the new zone. I want you to know that this is a ratio. So right now, the price is 0.065, which means Ethereum is 6.5% of Bitcoin's price. The zone that I think is the next zone of friendship would be around here. Let's just put a target of 0.10 up here. So this would be Ethereum being 10% of Bitcoin's price. So if Bitcoin literally did not move a single dollar, it would be Ethereum, obviously 0.10 times 26,000 is Ethereum 2,600. But most likely, this doesn't adjust by itself. You're going to need, with me, we're going to need Bitcoin to go up first. So this is what normally happens, right? So Bitcoin goes up with Ethereum, and then Ethereum up the top, right? What we might find is, this is how spreads usually adjust, right, with these players. When Bitcoin comes down, right, Ethereum, instead of retracing the whole move, Ethereum, like, basically just stays. And that's the type of strength. And then as that's happening, we might see this ratio basically come up here and stay around here. So this is just to open your mind as to how these spreads usually start going, because obviously what everyone wishes, what we want is basically everything stands still and then Ethereum just go to the moon. That's what we hope happens, but it doesn't happen because all the liquidity is bonded, okay? So we're still waiting for HEX as well. This is eHEX as well, friends. So we're going through everything, the PulseChain ecosystem, HEX, eHEX. Honestly, don't worry about your specifics. Everything is so ridiculously cheap, it honestly doesn't matter. Like, it's just between me and you, like, at this point, freaking just send the sword to zero, friends. We've gone through so much pain and turmoil. We're just waiting for some sort of sign to let us know, hey, can you please stop going to zero for 5 seconds? So we are in this slow summer period now. If you have any spare cash, can you get a second job? Can you do more hours? Whatever it is, these are the times to keep adding up. Keep adding up, okay? I stand by all the parameters and strategies I've said before in the past. They all stand still. I'm a man of my word, okay? Just because prices go down does not mean those previous cheap prices are wrong. It's still cheap, okay? They're still cheap. For example, ChainLink, I said to buy anything I'm buying, all right? Anything under $10, I consider super cheap. Yeah, because it was at $7 and it dropped down to $4.30. Doesn't mean the thesis is wrong. We're still waiting to 2025, deep 2025. It just got cheaper. Welcome to crypto. Everything keeps getting cheaper. But there's always going to be a premium on our friendship because you are special, you are unique, and we are going to make it together. Tell mum and dad, we love peanuts. Like, subscribe, bell button, or I'm going to catch you in the next one.